Okay. In the chat, can everyone type if they're on Google Business or not yet? Do they have an account, a Google Business page? Okay, not yet, not yet. Yes, nice, Byron. All right. Quite a few people not having one yet. Brett has one. Okay. That helps me as we jump into this. We'll go over how to log on and verify. Okay. All right, so we'll get started. Good morning, everybody. If you haven't yet, please type in the chat if you have already started your Google business. If not, that's totally fine. If you have and you have any success with it or any tricks that you've learned along the way, please feel free to jump in and share. I'm going to go over how to get started with it and then a few tricks that I've recently learned. In talking through this with some agents in the office, Courtney Miller in our office talked about her starting one, and she's already had 3 closings from it, and I believe another client she's working with from it. It does work. If nothing else, when you're referred to someone, they're gonna check your Google business, and so it just reinforces that referral should call you and kind of get to know who you are before they do that. So let's get started here. I'm going to share my screen. Okay. So the first thing you want to do when you're starting out on Google Business is you're going to go to googlemybusiness.com. So it's googlemybusiness.com, and that's going to bring you here to this screen. And you're going to go to sign in or manage now. When I hit manage now, I'm already signed in. So it's going to show me who, like, the businesses that I'm managing, but it's going to ask you, if you're not signed in, to create a business or to sign in to manage your business. So you're going to want to go through the prompts to add your business to Google. It is free. And then you're going to want to go through the steps to verify it. So once you get on here and put in your business name and what type of business you are, it's going to ask you to verify. And if you can see, can you guys see my mouse when I move it? Okay, cool. Here it shows that mine has been verified. There's a couple of ways to do that. It will ask you, the way that I did it is I hit verify and it said to send a postcard, which I thought was really weird. But once you have all the information in, then it will send you a postcard to the address you have listed for your business. I saw someone has their business for the office. That's okay, in my opinion. The office, I would put your office address. You don't want your home address out there for everybody. But it's going to send a postcard to your business address with a code. And when that happens, then you log back in, type in that code, and then it verifies it. And what that does is that Google wants it to be validated, and they want it to be, they want to know for sure that you're a legit business, that you're consistently on here, that you're actual business that someone can contact. They don't want any fake anything on here. So the more you can verify and have everything consistent from your Google profile to everything else, the better. So we'll kind of go through those steps there. I'm going to go through my notes because I just recently did a webinar and have implemented quite a few of this stuff, but I want to make sure I'm not missing anything. So you want to make sure that you verify and claim your account. The other thing, make sure your name matters. So you can see here, my name is the Robin Brees Group. And you'll notice that if you go on any of my platforms, it should all be Robin Brees Group, not the Robin Brees Group, not Robin Brees Group High Garden. I had to go back through and I realized there was so many variations on my name. So make sure that whatever you name your Google business, it is the same for your Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn. All of those things should be the same. And then that's going to create a higher awareness on your Google page. And then Google is going to boost your SEO because it sees that you're consistent business with the same name. It sees that you're the same person as all those other profiles. The other thing is you want to make sure that the address is consistent on everything you have, including your website, your social media profiles. Something that I did for all of our indie people, something I did wrong was I had Keystone Crossing. The crossing part was XING on some of my profiles, and then some of it was crossing like the word. So make sure all of those things are very consistent. Some of them weren't including the Suite 170, some of them were. So again, just make sure they're all the same. So you want to do that. And so let's go into, if you go into edit your profile, here's where you're going to put in your business name and then category. So I recently heard, and I need to add this on here, I already have real estate agents as a category. Research has shown that if you also add real estate agency, the Google business likes that. They will also boost your SEO for that. So right here, real estate agency. A lot of the top performing realtors on Google have the real estate agency as a listed category. So you want to make sure you add that. Your phone number. This sounds kind of simple, but it matters. The phone number needs to be unique to you. Make sure that your phone number on here is not the office phone number, because if Google Business sees it as a duplicate phone number, if like a lot of other realtors have that same one listed, it'll mark your profile as a duplicate. So make sure the phone number is unique to you. And then the website, you're going to put your website on here. This is really important too. Again, Robin Brees Group, you want to make sure it's very consistent. As soon as you go onto my website, it says Robin Brees Group at the top. And I hear that Google will actually scan your website. They're scanning it for the address, the phone number, your profile, your social profiles at the top. All of those things really matter on your website. So if you have your own, where you're managing your own website, make sure your social media profiles are at the top right hand part of your screen. I might have to go in and change that on mine too. But looks like we might have some chats. One sec. But you want to make sure that all your information is on your website that's consistent with your Google page as well. Heather says, is it important to use our High Garden email address? I think so, Heather. I don't know specifically I don't know if it would hurt SEO necessarily, but I would use the same email on everything. So if you're using your High Garden email on some things and not others, I think that could hurt you. You just want to make sure that it's the same email address across all platforms. And when I say all platforms, I'm talking social media and your website too. And then of course, Zillow, Realtor.com, all of those as well. Any questions so far? I've kind of gone pretty fast so far. Okay, the location. So I saw someone did put in here that they listed their business address and it marked it as a duplicate. I had learned to put your business address in there. I think that's okay, especially since you're working out of that office and multiple agents probably are. I would feel more comfortable putting your office location versus your home address, because that's going to be public for people to see. So you want to make sure you have your address in here. That is super important for SEO and for people to find you. The two ways people are going to find you on here, they're going to search. They're going to search either realtors in your area, they're going to search your name, they're going to search businesses in the area. And so you want to pop up here. And so it's really important to have that. And then they'll also see you on the map search too. If they're looking on maps and you're listed on here, you could pop up there if Google feels like you're a good match for them. So all of that is really important as far as exposure goes. Can I get on audio? Absolutely. Alyssa Johnson. Sure, go ahead.
Hey, Robin, it's Elisa. Out of Tampa. So part of the problem that we have is that the mail gets mailed to Charlie in Orlando. And anyways, it ended up getting lost. So then I thought I would do my home address and not list it, because you can do it that way, what area you work, not list your home address.
Okay.
So I mean, is that a good workaround, or is that going to end up pinging me, or what do you
I think
suggest?
not having an actual address may hurt you, but like an area is better than nothing. And I think that it's more safe than putting your home address on there.
Mm-hmm.
Because I've learned.
We can use the home address to get verified, which is what I was going to do, because
Okay.
because I already tried the verify and it didn't work. The postcard never showed up. So, so I was thinking of doing my home address, but then obviously not listing it. If I list the business address there, that's going to be inconsistent with them, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Let me do some research for you on that. I'm not sure the workaround on that.
Okay, thank you.
But I would hate for you to have your home address on there. That just makes me really nervous. Because our clients aren't the only ones that watch this. You'll notice once you get on Google too, you're going to get more spam calls too. Advertisers are going to look up realtors in the area and they're calling from this too. And I just would hate to have that like out there for everybody. But I get what you're saying. The verification is important too. So let me see if there's a workaround for you on that. I haven't thought that through.
Thank you.
Okay. So I see this a lot, and I actually had on business hours for myself 24 hours, because let's face it, as realtors, we tend to work all hours. So I had that there originally, but have recently learned that Google finds you more valid if you have actual hours listed. So the more you can go in here and work out, like write out your hours of operation, the more Google finds you as like a valid business, and that will help your SEO as well. Okay. So that's like the setup for Facebook or for Google Business. Any questions on that? Okay. I feel like we're missing, there's also spots. Let's see. So if I go in here to mine, so here's what my dashboard looks like. When you get onto Google Business, this is what your dashboard is going to look like. And you have over here an option for like your home, which is this, post. So you can make posts. And these can be anything really that you're posting on social media. You can also post here. Now, in talking through this with Courtney, I should have invited her on here because she has some great insight on this too. She says, what's really important to remember on Google Business is that when you post something on social media, that's really for your audience. It's for engagement. When you post it onto Google Business, it's for SEO. So make sure your verbiage has like the area in which you're selling. It has SEO type keywords. So things that your clients are going to look up. Maybe it's top agent in Indianapolis, maybe it's top agent in Atlanta, whatever it is. Make sure that you're working in some of those keywords into your description when you make posts. The other thing that you can do, there's a website, I have not used it yet, but it's called Geo Imager. I'll see if I can type it up here. GeoImgr.com. And you can go in here and sign up for a membership. I think it's free. Basically, you upload your photo and tag the location for your photo. Then you go back in and post it on Google. That's going to verify more of your location. And Google uses location authority a lot for their SEO. So the more you can tag the location for your posts, the more you're going to show up on that map view, or the more you're going to show up anytime someone searches that area. So try to get into a habit of, if you do post on Google Business, that you're tagging the location of your images and then uploading them, because that's really going to help get you found in more searches. So here's kind of, yeah.
Oh, hey, it's Corey. How are you?
Hey, Corey.
I have a quick question. So when you post, when you do the planning, or like you plan, schedule it all in advance. Will it also tie in here as well?
I have not found a platform yet that will syndicate directly to Google Business.
Okay.
I don't believe so.
Okay.
There might be, Corey, and I'm just not aware of it, but I have not found one. Usually it's
Okay.
just the
I'll
social
take a
media
look at it.
platforms. Yeah, but that's a really good point though. You can make it really easy. You don't have to do it on desktop. There is Google My Business app, and it's super easy to use. You literally click it, hit post, and post it. So it takes 2 seconds. They don't make it tough to do at all.
Okay.
So if you haven't downloaded the app and you plan to create a profile, I would definitely download the app. I use it a lot. Up here at the top, you can also, so the update would be a post, and then you can also add an event. If you're having a client appreciation event, photos with Santa coming up in Christmas, whatever it is, you can add events there too. And then you can also add products. Now, this was something that was new to me, and we've recently started using it. But basically, a product can be any home that you have that's active, pended, sold. It can also be any type of presentation you've made. Maybe it's a seller presentation or a buyer presentation. You can add videos and photos to this, select the category, and it will show up under your products. So that is really cool too, because it's going to help boost your SEO, but also it's a reference guide for people who are looking you up. Let me show you a good Tom Toole. If you guys don't follow him on social media, he does a lot of great YouTube videos as well. But here's his Google business. You can see 328 Google reviews. He has his hours of operation. And then here's his products. So if you hit view all, he has them. The categories are just listed. And he has a huge team too. So remember that, right? I think he's putting all of his team in here. And then under contract and sold. So you can imagine if I got referred to Tom Toole and I'm looking him up and I see all of this, that's pretty impressive. We know that he's definitely in this business and definitely built some trust just by showing all this. I'm going to go back to that real fast. Up here at the top, his phone number. So I can call him from the Google profile really easily.
Hey, Robin.
Yeah.
Would you be able to put other people's listings in there as products?
It would be really tough. We'd have to call MyBor on that, I think, Chad, to see what the rules would be. I know for social media, we have to give them credit. Like we have to give the listing broker credit. I don't know if that's a workaround on this or not.
I mean, I wouldn't have a problem putting that broker's name on it. It's just like our own pages that we have featured listings on, that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. It's a good idea. It's a really good idea. Let me write that down. I'll check in on that.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Robin, along
Yeah.
that same line, like I'm on a team, would there be any issue with me posting? I'm assuming the issue is with if it's somebody else's listing, them getting credit for it. So I'm assuming if I'm on a team, there wouldn't be an issue with me listing my team's listings that aren't mine.
I wouldn't think so. I would get
Okay.
I would get permission from your team leader, but I wouldn't think so. I would
Sure.
want to leverage that as much as possible.
Okay.
Yeah. The only thing I can think of is if your team is doing it and then it's a duplicate, that could hurt. So that's where I feel.
I see what you're saying. Like if they have it posted on their Google page too.
Yeah.
I gotcha.
Then it becomes a duplicate.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Okay. The other thing that we can do here, and we're working on this as a team right now, is this Q&A field. So you can go in and ask a question, or anybody can ask a question, but most people aren't using this feature. They are using it as a reference. So you can go in, hit ask a question, and you can ask like, is it a good time to sell right now? And then you can answer your own question. And when that happens, it shows up as the question in bold and then your answer. You have to dig pretty deep to see that you asked your own question. So we have a Q&A page on our seller guide and our buyer guide. We're in the process right now of just typing out all those questions in this field and then answering them ourselves. So when someone goes to this, they can see the question and answers pretty easily. And then also that's going to help you boost your SEO because Google Business is showing that you're here to be a resource for people. And the more keywords you work into that people are looking up, the better. And then of course, reviews. So reviews, as you all know, I'm sure everybody felt the tension when Zillow took away our reviews for a short time. And it just showed we can't have all of our eggs in one basket, right? We have to have our reviews spread out. And Google reviews are a big thing. So make sure that you're asking for them. Right here where it says write a review. Actually, it's not that one. I believe it's under, because that's not mine. If I go back to my home page and I scroll down, manage reviews. Let's see. I'm not seeing it clear. Does anybody else see? Because my toolbars might be covering it up. There should be a thing that's a button that says request a review. There we go. Get more reviews here on your dashboard. Share review form. When you do that, this link right here is all you need to send to your clients in an email. You can even put it in your signature, and you just use the hyperlink button that will change the verbiage that says review me on Google or whatever it is you want it to say. Here's the link to quickly send to someone to request a review. And what I've really found to be successful is sending it to them right after closing. They're like literally an hour after closing. I'm sending them like an email that's templated that says, I loved working with you. If you also loved working with me, please feel free to share that here. And I'm sending them the link. So that has helped here recently getting more reviews. I used to wait an entire year and I would make a contest out of it. And I loved doing that because I felt like I was giving back, but I wasn't getting as many reviews as I've been getting just asking for it right after closing. Has anybody else seen a really good time to ask for the review? No? Okay. I've also heard after the inspection is taken care of or right before closing, but I just feel like that can be a tense moment for a lot of people. So I've done it right after closing. Okay, let me make sure I'm not missing anything. So info, we went home posts, info. This is where you can also type in your service areas, add more hours. Special hours would be if like a holiday or something like that, you can type in there if you're closed for a certain holiday. This right here, appointment links. So if you're not familiar with Calendly, I would look it up. It's a free platform, but there's some paid features too. It's a free way for someone to set an appointment with you directly on your calendar, and you can set parameters. Like it's not open-ended for them to set an appointment with you whenever they want. You set parameters for them, and they can go in without ever talking to you and set an appointment to meet with you. And I have had listing appointments that I've closed. They went into Calendly, set a listing appointment with me, and then we were good to go. So people do use it. If you ever get your like hair done or anything like that, a lot of stylists are using online appointment calendars. It's so much easier because then you're not coordinating schedules all the time. So go on to Calendly, sign up for an account. You're going to type in your URL here, and that's going to show up on your Google business. So if someone decides they want to work with you or at least have a conversation with you, they can add a click of a button, set that up. So that makes you available to them more often. Like if it's later at night and they don't have time to call you and set up an appointment, they can do it without ever having to do that. Okay, products, that's where you're going to add the homes or marketing presentations. And then the services is where we were talking about labeling ourselves as the real estate agents and real estate agency. Also for the business, you can mark whether or not your office, if they come to meet you at your office, if it's handicap accessible, if there are any amenities, if there's appointment required, anything like that, you can put those things in there too. And then the description, you want to make sure that you really write out a description. Don't make it 2 words or 3 words. Make sure that you're putting in a well-written description that describes your business. I don't know how much it matters necessarily to the people viewing your page, but it matters to Google that that's in there. And then add opening date. I need to go in and add an opening date because that will make your Google business more valid as well if you have the date in which your business was created. So make sure to go in and add that in there too. Okay. Insights. So I have not paid attention to insights too much, but 141 searches. It looks like this many people found me just from the Google page. And then 25 were directly looking for the business. And then I had 2 people somehow brand related. They might've been looking up another agency and mine was somewhat related and found my business through that. So here you can get lots of different insights on how many people are going to your website, how many people are looking at your Google profile, things like that. Okay, reviews. Again, we talked about that. You definitely want to make sure that you're going in and asking for reviews. If you don't have any reviews on Google, but you have them on Facebook or Zillow, send your clients an email, like a personal email that says, hey, I'm really trying to move a lot of my reviews over from this platform to Google. Would you mind just copying and pasting your review onto Google? And you'd be shocked at how many people take the time to do that. I mean, they want to see you win. Okay, photos. So here's where you can add photos of your business. This shows up in the Google search when someone types in your business. This shows up as like what they would see if they come to your office. So these photos need to be, I mean, if you're working at like a corporate office, this is where you would put that. I would want to do some research on if you're working from home, what that would look like, but definitely want to have some photos in there that represent what it would be to work with you. Maybe you just put pictures of you yourself, your clients, your team, whatever that might look like. And then website, you do get a website with your Google business. I don't use it. I don't know if anybody really does because I have my own personal one, but if you want to use this as your website, you could. And then users. So I recently hired an admin, Faith, and she is a manager on here too. So if you have team members that can help you post or help you keep this up to date, you can add them here so that they can hop on and manage your account as well. And that is it. Do I have any questions on Google Business or anybody has done this and had success with it? No? All right, guys. Oh, the other thing I wanted to say, because this tripped me up, here's another profile, the FAR group. And if you scroll down here, she has her posts, but then she also has her profiles listed on here, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter. There's no way for you to manually put these on here. You can't put them on there. Google has to find them through your other profiles. And the top way to do that is to have your social profiles on your website at the very top. So make sure if you want your social media profiles to show up here, that they're on the top of your website when you first log in. Heather says, I have a question about HomeSnap Pro. I think I messed up. It looks like they own my business page now. I did the same thing, Heather. If you guys are all signed up for HomeSnap Pro, I was a big believer in that. I still like HomeSnap Pro, but what they do is they create a business profile for you. And that sounds good because they will put in all the details for you. They'll even post for you, but then you don't have ownership of it. So there's a lot of these features that you no longer have access to do. So Heather, what you have to do is you have to message them quite a few times to tell them that you want ownership of that. But then I also Googled my name, found the business on Google profile, and then said that I want to claim ownership. And so I clicked that, and then I had to contact Google a few times to say, hey, I'm the owner of this. I want it to be released from HomeSnap Pro, and I finally got it. But you have to be pretty diligent about it. If, like Corey, like what you were talking about posting for you, that is a workaround a little bit in the way that HomeSnap Pro will post for you. And then you can go in and add to it, like it, because it's a lot of graphics, a lot of facts. So if you want to go in and sprinkle some photos, like you're really good at taking photos like behind the scenes and like when you're at houses and stuff, you can just add to it. But I don't believe you can add like the products or the frequently asked questions. So if you're
That's
not,
additional charge, right, for that for the home snap.
I think it's like 300 a year or something
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you
Mhm.
used it?
I do use it. And I like it, but I'm beginning to feel like it's more of an advertising platform, and
Right.
I don't take cold leads necessarily. So it hasn't been, I don't have the resources to take cold leads the way that they
Right.
give them to you. So I don't know that it's a value for me at the moment.
Yeah, I agree with you.
But yeah,
Yeah.
it's kind of changed. It's evolved a little bit the past year, I think.
Yeah.
So. All right, guys. Well, have a good rest of your week. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out.
Thank you.
Have a good one. You're welcome.
Thanks, Robin.